Hey guys, it is April from Getting Hooga With It. Today I have a thriller horror haul for you, and these are some amazing books. I'm so excited, so let's just dive right into it. Book that I picked up is My Cousin Rachel by Daphne du Maurier. Now, Daphne du Maurier is an author that I just know that I'm going to love, and so I picked up My Cousin Rachel. This follows a man named Philip Ashley who was actually raised by his cousin. He was orphaned at a young age, so his cousin kind of stepped in to save the day and help him out, and he became really close to his cousin. And his cousin at one point goes on a trip to Florence, and there he meets a woman named Rachel. And then his cousin promptly dies. And so suddenly Rachel moves in to this guy's house, essentially. He's lived there all of his life. She moves in, and you know, he's really drawn to her. She's very interesting, but there's a part of him that wonders whether or not she might have actually killed his cousin. It sounds fantastic, and I obviously want to read this before I watch the movie, which also looks fantastic. So this is something that I want to read pronto. Now, I also picked up a horror book named Suffer the Children by Craig DeLuey, and this sounds just so creepy. This follows a world where children are just dying randomly, and it's like worldwide. They're all dying, but then 3 days later they come back to life, and you know, all of these mothers and fathers are thrilled and excited that their children are back until they start to feed. So essentially, I think they're zombies, and I don't really read a lot of zombie fiction, but this just sounded really fun. And I think that it was Shaun over at the Eclectic Reader that mentioned this book and mentioned liking that. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that he liked this book, so I grabbed that. I also picked up A Murder at Rosamund's Gate by Susanna Calkins. This is a 17th century England mystery book, and we follow Lucy Campion, and she is a chambermaid for this grand home. Suddenly a servant is like brutally killed. Someone that Lucy is close to is actually one of the suspects, and so she decides to get to the bottom of this. What in the world is happening in her own home? It sounds really nice, and there's just something about this cover that I was drawn to. Maybe it was the letters, I don't know, but when I saw this chapters, I just had to get it. So fingers crossed it's good. I also picked up I Am Pilgrim by Terry Hayes. This is a thriller, and in this thriller we are following a man named Pilgrim, and he's linking all of these strange storylines together. These horrific things are happening around the world. One woman is murdered in a hotel and her body is dissolved with acid, which is very disgusting. A father is publicly beheaded in Saudi Arabia. Human remains are found in Afghanistan, and I guess all of these things link together, and Pilgrim is the one who can link them together. I've heard that this one's really fun to read, and it's really fast-paced, so I picked that one up. I also picked up The Haunting of Maddy Clare by Simone St. James. Now, I follow Simone St. James on Facebook, and I just really like her. I haven't even read her yet, but I just like her vibe. And she seems to write really regularly. She comes out with a novel pretty much yearly. And in this novel, we are following a woman in 1920s England. Sarah Piper's lonely, threadbare existence changes when her temporary agency sends her to assist a ghost hunter. Alistair Gillis, rich, handsome, scarred by World War I, and obsessed by ghosts, has been summoned to investigate the spirit of 19-year-old Maddy Clare, who is sent to haunt the barn where she committed suicide. Maddy hated men and life, and she will not speak to them in death, but Sarah is unprepared to go alone into a haunted barn looking for the truth. And Maddy's ghost is no hoax. She's real, she's angry, and she has powers that defy all reason. This is right up my alley. I love a good ghost story, so Yes. I also grabbed The Couple Next Door by Sherry Lapina. Now this was another book that was really, really big last year. And I had wanted to read it, but it was totally out at the library. There was no way of getting a hold of it unless I bought it myself. So I did for $1 a year later. This follows a couple who really seem to have it all. They have this beautiful baby, and one day they go just next door for a dinner party and they leave their baby at home. The doors are locked. Still not the greatest idea. And then a crime is committed. And I have a feeling something happens to the baby. Maybe the baby is stolen. I'm not sure. And of course, all fingers point to the parents. So we dive into what really happened to the baby and the couple next door. Now, this next one I just picked up yesterday. It sounds fantastic. It's called The Boy in the Suitcase. This follows a Red Cross nurse named Nina Borg. And one of her friends who she hasn't talked to in a long time, Karen, she gives her a key to a public locker in the Copenhagen train station. And so she goes to the train station, opens up the locker, and inside the locker is a suitcase. And inside the suitcase is a 3-year-old boy, naked and drugged, but alive. And so she's trying to figure out what in the world has happened to this little boy. Is he a victim of child trafficking? It sounds really gripping. I'm so glad that the kid is alive, because that would have been a totally other book that I don't know if I'd want to read. Now here I go again, picking up books that are right in the middle of a series, and that means that I'll definitely have to get the whole series, especially considering it's by Dennis Lehane. This is Gone Baby Gone. I love Dennis Lehane so much. It's unbelievable. This follows 2 private detectives, Patrick Kenzie and Angela Gennaro, and a case that occurs in Dorchester where a little girl is missing, and they don't want to take the case, but the aunt keeps pleading with them, please take the case, and so they finally do. Dennis Lehane has this way of writing that pulls me in and doesn't let me go until I finish the book. So I know that I'm gonna like it. I just need to read the other books in the series. I think this is number 4, so I need to read 1, 2, and 3. I'll try to collect them all. I'm also giving another book another shot, and that is The Little Stranger by Sarah Waters. Now, I picked up The Little Stranger several years ago now, and I just found it slow and I couldn't get into it, so I DNF'd it. But it's a ghost story, so I know that I should like it. Maybe I was just at the wrong place in my life or something to read it. I don't know. So this follows a very run-down home called Hundreds Hall. There's a small family that lives there. There's a mother with her 2 children, a son and a daughter. Now the son was injured in the war, and a doctor goes to this home, Dr. Faraday, and I can't remember who he's taking care of. I think it's the mother he's trying to take care of, and he gets kind of immersed into their life and into the house itself, and the house is haunted. It's supposed to be good. I just gotta get back into it and give it another shot. Finally, I picked up Blindness by Jose Saramago. And this follows a city where this epidemic has happened. Everyone is going blind. Now, the city authorities are confining the blind to this mental hospital that's totally empty. But there is a lot of chaos that's happening in the city because of this crazy epidemic. And so I believe that a few of these people escape, and they have one person that can kind of lead them through the town and through to safety. And this won the Nobel Prize for Literature, so it's supposed to be amazing, and I'm looking forward to it. So those are all of the thrillers / horror that I picked up. Let me know what your favorite thriller or horror book is that you've been reading in the last little while. I'd love to know, and I'll see you next time. Bye!